Alrighty. We got Waddle Pizza versus Geese on equal footing. Eshwar won in the last game. So actually, one thing I wanted to chat with you about, one thing that's fairly new for this tournament is having a completely predetermined map list. So all of the maps for the entire tournament pretty much are like already defined, like which map is first, second, third, fourth. We did it that way so that you can practice the ones that you want to play on, and you can pick specific civs based on specific maps, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, I think a couple, but not all the earlier tournaments worked that way. Well, a lot of the rest of them, there was like a map pool, but then players more or less, I think round one got picked and then loser picked from there typically.
Yes.
But yeah, in these ones, the whole list is pretty much predetermined. So yeah, and there's no bans on multiple civ picks or multiple civ picks for winners in either case, which both have typically been, either of those have been enforced. So it just means that, I guess, the caliber of investment people can have in a particular civ and in a particular playstyle for a map is just a lot higher in this, because there's just no randomness in it. They're not basically just, all right, I think I'm going to get my opponent doing this, so I'm going to go do this. This is probably going to be the map he picks.
Yes.
Beyond map one, that's pretty much what the winners has to think.
And
or when it's random, both of them have to think. And geese.
Yeah, here they can, like, Geese could have been thinking, okay, perfect. It's equal footing. I'm gonna get on my hunt, and as soon as I get on my hunt, I'll drop down to barracks and push with some Sparabara, right? Like, that could have been his game plan from game one, because he knew that that's what he was gonna do for equal footing. And maybe on
that's it.
Wildwoods, he knows that he's gonna switch his civ to a more aggressive composite, like play Norse or something like that.
That's it. He plays his Egyptians or his Romans on Wildwoods or something, as you say, because he just knows going into it in advance. It's not just game one he can make an informed decision about what he's doing. It's game, 2, 3, and 4,
yeah, exactly.
5, 6, and 7. The only real thing he doesn't know is what his opponent's civ is going to be. And he can always make a better educated guess when he knows what the map's going to be.
Yes. And who the players are, right? A lot of these players are well known in the community, and their gameplay style is also well known.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, Waddled Pizza is probably a bad example.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he's played a couple games. But this is.
I mean, he has. He's played a lot recently, actually, and I think he's improved quite a bit recently.
Yeah.
And that's a really nice work pool there. He hasn't lost any workers. Instantly throwing down another storehouse.
Yep.
The only thing he's really slow on here is a picker's gloves.
And a little bit of wood gathering. Yep. But also a really nice hunt from him too, right? He didn't even Geese couldn't do much pressure. He got to H2, and that's sort of that time period before you have enough resources and food to go to H2.
Oh, exactly. That's it. I mean, if it was a frontside hunt, or if Geese had to push like one spar earlier, things could have been a lot different there. But because it's a rear side hunt, Geese sort of waited till he had about 3 or 4 spar to actually push all the way in. He didn't really get a huge amount of value, and he's invested a lot in this infantry. Right now, as long as Waddle keeps microing out villages well, and he seems to be.
He's trying to heal.
A heal off. He's going to try and heal.
I like this heal.
As long as
I love this
lose
heal.
Anything. Yeah, as long as he doesn't lose any eco here, he actually comes out of this a fair bit ahead.
Yeah.
He really just needs to get the barracks and a town center down, and he's safe. And Geese is actually going to back off rather than trying to continually micro and harass this, because he wants to get as much value out of his macro in the meantime. So this means, yeah, Waddle's free to go and keep doing what he wanted to do, as long as Geese doesn't turn this properly, in a sense. Because if Geese happens to scout that town center, he can push in across now, and Waddle's forced to either put everything on the town center or lose it. But the scout for Geese is actually sitting behind the military doing nothing, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, it died. Geese is.
Oh
yeah,
no,
it's down here. It's down here. You're right. It's not scouting.
Yeah.
And yeah, with every passing second, that means we're not going to see a repeat of what happened, unfortunately, with Krakenko.
He might raise the gold line here, but like, truth be told, yeah, as long as Waddle gets enough wood to get a barracks, keeps his villagers alive, and finishes that town center, he's safe, and he comes out of this on pretty much even ground with Geese.
Really nice garrison there. And yeah, they're being a nuisance, but with Sparabara having only 0.2 pierce armor, no, he needs to put more.
He's gonna get the barracks. Oh, that's a good
snipe,
pick.
good
Yeah, I
snipe,
think
good snipe.
Waddle really probably need to throw it down behind or alongside the second town center with 2 villages, I think, to really safely get it out. Because now he's put in this weird position where he's 5 minutes in the game and he doesn't have any military production. He's relying, purely on healing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and the town center fire, and it's getting good value, the town center fire as well. But I mean, it is Spara, so they've got good pierce.
Not as good as they
Geese
once
taken
had,
Spara
but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. He hasn't got Spara champ, so it's not as good as it once was. He is going to have to back off eventually or lose those 3 for free.
Look at this. He's going
to get... Oh, he switched to stables rather than a barracks. This is interesting.
Very...
But yeah, now Geese now actually has to get Spearman out to really be able to do anything here and try and get a fast age 3. Because Waddled with the camels in age 2, yeah, Geese's only counter is a slower unit. His own cavalry costs more and doesn't win the fight. He's got to rely on his spearmen.
I think you're underestimating Chad Spearman there. That guy, Chad Spearman,
Possibly.
with the fastest training unit in the game next to Axeman, base bowmen.
This is true, but
so
saying
strong.
That, Persian bowmen are the least cost effective of all the bowmen.
But they're so strong because they train so fast.
They are strong because they do train fast, but they are the least cost effective of all the bowmen here. And if Waddle can either get his own slingers or get a quick age 3 of his own and get Camel Champ or chariots, I think he's actually relatively safe. As long as he can keep up an eco and his military production here, he's actually looking really healthy here.
Yeah, he's 30 villagers to 32. So very even there. And needs to make sure he doesn't get houses. Interesting to see him use his priests of Ra on empowering this one storehouse. I feel like unfortunately it leads to bad habits.
Well, that's it. He really needs to probably either have it on his town center or one of his military production buildings. Either that or put a closer storehouse and put her on that.
Yes. That's exactly what I meant by bad habits. Like you're like, oh, I want to make sure I only have one storehouse so that my priestess empowers that one storehouse. But
that's it. Yeah, you're perfectly right about that. That's it.
This is like, it's still worse, even though there's empowerment. So even though it's like 10% more efficient, this whole walking back and forth is just really, really.
That's it. It just adds up. Yeah, it's costing him just as much as he's getting out of the empowerment. But if he puts another closer storehouse, which I think he's gonna add now, he's actually gonna get back a bit of that value. But yeah, and what you said about Bowman is pretty true as well. If Geese manages to push here with a good number of Bowmen and Waddle doesn't have an answer to it, Persia can actually have a really scary game-ending age 2 as well.
Yes, and that's how I love playing them.
That's it, and Egypt does have to play a bit more of a hit-and-run style and go into age 3 with less of a likelihood of having a huge advantage over his opponent. In saying that, with repeat camel hit-and-run against someone that doesn't properly defend against it, you can actually get a huge amount of value and pretty much like snowball the game into a win from there. But yeah, for now, Waddle's just sort of sitting back.
Interesting they chose.
But that's a good pick. I really like actually rushing that one myself on Egypt, just because it's combined.
I actually let's have this discussion. Like I'm sort of torn. Ace had a really good comment, right? And I would almost agree with him that it doesn't make sense to go for an armory upgrade unless you have the units to make it useful. And yes, this is probably the best armory upgrade in the game to go for, but there aren't too many. Oh my god, he's going to age 3. But there's not too many units here in the mix that would get enough value from that armory upgrade, and instead you could pop out like multiple.
He probably should have delayed this until he had basically the level of population that Geese has actually got. Funnily enough.
Yes, and Geese exploded, right?
Yeah.
They were even not too long ago, and now
that's
triple Bowman production.
That's it. That tempo of the Persian production is actually really, really nice. So, without any camel harass to begin with, like the Persian is able to macro really, really strongly in this position. And yeah, you are right that like without enough units to actually get any value out of the tech, even though it's like the strongest armory upgrade in the game because it's both the defensive one combined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's more expensive, and yeah, you need to actually have units for it to be worth it. Even though it's good against this composition because there's both ranged and melee in the mix there, and Geese will inevitably add Asabar in at one stage here, I think. Or he
Yeah,
may just tech
eventually.
straight to Cataphracts, possibly, as
Oh,
well.
look at this. Got up a War Academy. Think some Magis are in the mix? Or might be
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
added? Oh, just continue to produce so many bowmen. And that's going to be... It's going to be hard, right? Like, as soon as you push in, when you hit that critical mass, there's really nothing you can do unless you have strong anti-range, which Waddle doesn't have.
Yeah, well, that's it. He's going to have to rely on non-champion camels to really zone Bowman, and that doesn't work so well because, yeah, they've got no multi yet against the Bowman.
Oh,
Haven't really got a lot of armor, even though he has taken that armor upgrade now. And I guess the beauty of having such an early armory upgrade is if he doesn't take too much punishment, he can get away with one armory early rather than having to go to two.
yeah.
But in saying that, Geese, yeah, is building even further on his population lead. He's getting like 4 bowmen at a time
Yeah,
and
it's
2
nuts.
spears. Yeah, like his army is out of control right now.
Yeah.
Waddle might just get out
Getting
produced here, basically.
triple spears going on right now with conditioning upgrade. So yeah, I feel like once Geese hits 160, he's just gonna be like, all right, that's my cue.
Yeah, that's
And
it. Geese's macro tempo is amazing. Like as like a former top level PvE player transitioning to PvP for him has probably
yeah,
been easier than most players. Because yeah, he's pretty much able to rely on being able to play like this and just crush anyone that's not able to really keep up with his macro pace.
yeah, he's
And
probably saying like,
not able to
whoa.
deal with someone who's able to, yeah, deal a little bit of harass and then just boom.
He's like, your units aren't elite? Oh, okay, cool. I'll just
Pretty
push
much, man.
it.
That's pretty much Geese's mentality, man. And it's great because he seems to have a great understanding of like what compositions he needs
Hmm.
as well. Because he's typically used to, experiment a lot with the varied comps in PvE as well. And right now, Paul Waddle, even with all his recent practice and improvement, I don't know if he's
He
going to have enough to defend here.
he has improved a lot, but yeah, it's just that consistent production. That was the stonks play for
But
Geese here.
that's
And
it.
hopefully soon. I'm not sure if you saw the cool new Sparta quests that are going to be coming out, and those quests I'm hoping will help myself and players like myself, who have some issues gathering up to that 160 mark, just exactly as Geese did.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like being able to shoot to 140, 160, 180 pop. Even though you're not going all the way to 200 or making use of the absolute late game tech, probably the most crucial skill because it's what actually lets you get there.
Yeah, and Geese, man, I'm so impressed by how quickly he's improved. Like, not too long ago, I could sleep and defeat Geese, and now, like, I think yesterday night he glitched in the Matrix, he said, but he did post a screenshot of him beating Poseidon, which was, it's like a rite of passage, right? Like, Poseidon is this
Everyone's
enemy you
first
absolutely
game
get.
off the start, and it's just the best feeling, man.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how he feels about beating somebody every single day for like multiple months and then losing to them. But if I was Poseidon, I'd be like, that's a great feeling. It's you've trained somebody up to be that level.
To be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
And poor Waddle is mounting like this last-ditch defense, but yeah, as you say, like your typical Zeus versus some unknown player on the ladder. There's just this perfect 160 pop bowman spearman push,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no answer on the other end.
Yeah.
And there's even a forward aid tent, and he's stealing his opponent's gold at the
His
moment.
starting
With the
gold, bro.
forward-
He's starting gold. Oh man,
He's
this is.
stealing his starting gold
Oh.
with an aid tent storehouse and
Oh.
getting rams. Like, this is just the most
And great smart, like so smart. Switching to no more bowman, like he doesn't need any more bowman, right? Switching to Asabar, switched to even more spearmen, and he even got the tech. You know what tech he got up? He got paid labor and righteous training. I was like, why are these spearmen cost so much? But yeah, just even to continue the production, didn't want to let
rigorous training do again. Can you inform a noob like me?
Oh, rigorous training increase the costs of your. Increase the cost of your units, but it increases their training time by like 35% or something.
Okay, and what about paid labor?
Just because we're being very inclusive today. So paid labor increases your villager training time. So sometimes you'll see some players go quickly to age 3 and get their three town centers, and then paid labor turns your villager cost from food to gold. Or large part gold, and then you can train them 30% faster, which is a huge boom. But yeah, great game from Geese. Switching civs,